Good day, I'm Chef David of chefsresources.com and welcome to the first edition of Whiteboard Chef Management. So today we are going to be talking about the myth of food cost importance and how food cost percentage by itself is wholly inadequate and improper for evaluating the success or failure of your food operation or your chef. All right, so let's dive into this. So first of all, what is food cost? All right, so technically, food cost is your beginning food inventory plus food purchases minus ending food inventory, and then divide that by your food sales. That is the calculation used for budgets and for, success or failure of a food operation. For the purposes of this conversation, though, we are going to look at food cost just based upon the plate cost of all the menu items, and we'll get into some examples here soon. So we're not going to be looking at your waste and that sort of thing. We're simply looking at the cost of your plates and how that impacts your food cost. All right, so classically, the food cost mindset as it relates to budget is, if you have a good food cost, man, you've done a good job. Thumbs up at your P&L meeting. If you've got a bad food cost, bad job, dude. We need to know what you've done wrong. We need an action list. You've got to dive in and find out what the problem is, and you better fix it by next month. That's pretty much, the corporate industry standard for food cost. One of the things it doesn't do is it doesn't consider your sales mix, and it doesn't consider margin, and we'll be getting into that. So the fallacy of the supreme importance of food cost percentage. This is really important. Sometimes a high food cost is absolutely unavoidable. Impossible for you to have gotten a lower food cost, and you need to know when that is and why it is. Sometimes a high food cost is actually a good thing. Sometimes you may want to have that higher food cost, and we'll get into that as well. So we'll move over to this side. Let's get some good examples here, all right? The goal here is to show you when it's good to have a high food cost and or how it's possible to have a high food cost and have no way to have gotten a better food cost. All right, so let's look at, say you've got a menu and you've only got two items, lobster and spaghetti. And let's say that your budget is a 42%. All right, so for your lobster, let's say the cost is $25. You sell it for $50. Your food cost on that then is 50% food cost. Your spaghetti cost of $3. You're going to sell it for $10. That's a 30% food cost. All right, so let's say at the end of the month, you've sold 900 lobster, 100 spaghetti for a total of 1,000 covers. With this sales mix, your food cost is going to be a 49.6 compared to a 42% budget. All right, you're in hot water when you go into your P&L meeting because your food cost is like 7 points, 7.5 points too high. Now, next month, we still have lobster and spaghetti. We still have the same cost and sales price and same food cost percentages for these items. But now we sell only 100 lobster and 900 spaghetti. So we've swapped them. Your food cost for this sales mix is a 37.1 compared to a 42% budget. You look stellar, man. It's all thumbs up at the P&L meeting, pats on the back. You've done a great job. But there are some serious things missing here. Serious things missing. All right? So let's fall back just for a moment on sales mix. What is sales mix? This is exactly what sales mix is. If you sell these items based upon these food cost percentages for those plates, your food cost is going to be higher. But if you sell a lot more of your low food cost items, your food cost is going to be lower. That is your sales mix. Your actual food cost will actually always be higher than this. This is called your theoretical food cost. It is simply based upon your menu items sold. It doesn't include things like waste, comps, server errors, cook errors, theft, all that sort of thing. Sales mix is simply the food cost you would have if all you had to consider was sales and nothing else. Okay? So in this scenario here, this top one of 49.6, there is no way that you could get a lower food cost than this. 42% food cost, forget it. It's not going to happen. Utterly impossible. And if your management holds you accountable to this number when you have this sales mix, then they don't understand, because that is not going to ever happen with this sales mix. Okay? You need to be able to educate them if they don't understand this. You need to educate yourself too, so you can go in and explain it. All right, so another thing, extremely key. Okay, this is where you can win points if your management doesn't understand this. You can win huge points here. Margin. What is margin? Margin is a gross profit after your cost of goods sold. So, let's go back up here to the lobster. Your total cost, if it's $25 per lobster for 900, is $22,500. Your total sales at $50 a pop is $45,000. So in this scenario up here, your margin would be $23,200. This is the amount of profit that you have made off of this menu mix based upon those things sold. Okay, and that doesn't include, your labor costs or anything else, but just upon food. This is the money that's driven to the bottom line to pay your other bills. Okay? Now, on this one, where you sold spaghetti, you have a much lower cost, much lower sales, and a much lower margin. You only have $8,800 that you drove to the bottom line. Now this part is extremely key. What would you rather have at the end of the month? 49.6% food cost and $23,000, or a 37% food cost and $8,000? $23,000, $8,000. What would you rather have? Money in the bank is where it's at, right? Food costs, you can't take a food cost percentage to the bank. It's the money that is important. And it is virtually always better to have a high food cost percentage if it means you're also getting a higher margin. So when you go into your sales mix, into your P&L meeting, if your food cost is high compared to your budget, you need to know this. You need to know your sales mix. You need both. You need your actual food cost, which is important, but you also need to know your theoretical food cost. Those two combined will give you a solid picture of what you have actually achieved or failed to achieve, and the health of your operation. Okay, so next time what we'll cover is the difference between actual food cost and theoretical food cost. We'll dive into that aspect of this a little bit further. So, we'll see you next time on Whiteboard Chef Management. Thanks a lot. Enjoy the day.